First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
A rolling dust cloud over a Texas town will show you the damage you can't see here. And why officers fired their weapons at a man near a local rooming house. Plus, a car slammed into a house with 2 children inside. Hear from the man who lives there. President Obama is in Emporia tonight pushing his jobs plan.
He's pitching $35 billion in tax dollars to save nearly 300,000 jobs. We're talking mostly workers in the public sector, teachers, police officers, firefighters, and first responders. The money would come from a new 0.5% tax on income over $1 million and includes tax breaks for businesses that buy new equipment and tax credits to companies that hire veterans. Then in your size, Andy Fox is live at the first Virginia stop on the presidential bus tour. It's Greensville County High in Emporia. And Andy, a major retailer there shutting down. I'm sure you got an earful about that too.
Yeah, I went over to the local Lowe's. They're shutting down. It's going to cost 100 jobs here in just the little town of Emporia. We are waiting for the president. We are told he's somewhere around 10 minutes out. 1,100 tickets were sold here. I'm thinking there's like around 500 to 600 people here. With me right now is Brenda Kindred. She's from Southampton County. Brenda, why'd you come here today?
I came to see my president. Come to see President Obama.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about jobs, and of course he's here to talk about the American Jobs Act.
Yes.
Do you blame him for the unemployment situation in America?
No, I do not. I think he's doing what he needs to do to give us jobs.
Right, and with the act, what do you hope it does? I mean, you're hearing, just here in this town, Lowe's shutting down, 100 jobs lost in the little town of Emporia.
That is true, and I know that Job Act will help so many people.
All right, well, Brenda Kindred, thank you very much. And of course, with the act, the president is hoping to get teachers rehired, infrastructure people rehired, transportation, getting that going, service jobs, hoping that that solves a lot of the unemployment problem in America. But I went to the Lowe's. The Lowe's is closing down. It's closing down because there's not enough business. We went there, and there are a lot of people there that are hurting. President Obama is coming here to Emporia. This is the Lowe's in Emporia, the Lowe's that is closing down November 13th. Over 100 jobs lost here. 10 on your side, only allowed to shoot video inside this Lowe's, no interviews. You could tell, though, there's a sadness here, a reality of what happens with non-profitable stores. 20 Lowe's closed down across the country, about 2,000 jobs gone. James Robinson has lived in Emporia 62 years.
Employment issue for this area. Good job.
Lowe's closing down.
Well,
did you know that?
no,
100 jobs lost right here in Emporia. What do you think about that?
it's going to hurt the economy worse than what it already is.
Robinson does not hold President Obama responsible for the unemployment situation in America, but Jason Bicking does. Did you vote for him last time?
Yes.
Does he have your vote this time?
No.
Bicking has been unemployed over a year.
I left one job, never had a problem finding a job my whole life, been working since I was 13. When I left that job, it was a terrible mistake. I stayed unemployed for 13 months.
Here's advice from one man in Emporia, Virginia, who has lived the unemployment story. He's an expert.
Just stop focusing on being politicians and more on being leaders and trying to get something done for everybody as a whole and not just continue on with the same games that's been going on for years.
And that's the bottom line at the Lowe's. A lot of people concerned. You can see it's the American Jobs Act. That's why the president's here. We have a whole lot of people now standing up like there's a little buzz in the room, but we still haven't seen the president. Of course, he's been traveling through a lot of small towns of North Carolina. He's come to Emporia, a small town here. He's sending his message to middle-income America and lower income that you need to support his act, according to him. In Congress, of course, the U.S. Senate, he says, has been tying it up in their deliberations, but he is saying that this is what's needed in order to lower the unemployment rate. 15 million Americans unemployed right here in America. It will be his toughest challenge for re-election. In Emporia, Virginia, Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
And the president is touting his jobs plan, but Republicans are accusing him of campaigning with your money.
He's traveling around on a Canadian bus touting American jobs. Is that appropriate on the taxpayer's dime, since it is clearly campaigning?
Now, the Secret Service approved bus reportedly cost $1 million. The White House denies the president is on a campaign trip.
10 on your side is awaiting the president's arrival and speech.
And when he gets to that podium, we will take him live.
Well, another gorgeous day here in Hampton Roads.
Yeah, changing to the weather right now. That change, again, starts tonight. 10 on your side, Chief Meteorologist Don Slater in the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center. It's going to be a busy evening, you think?
Yeah, I think later on it will be. I think we'll see light rain during the evening hours, later evening hours. We tied the record high for the day. For today, we hit 85 degrees, so a very, very warm day. A little warmer than we expected. We knew it was going to be around 80, but to hit 85, again, unusually warm. So where's the rain? Well, it's going to be moving on in. You can see it over Florida right now, off to the west. You can see the cloud cover lifting northward. That cloud cover will be here by midnight. And so will some light rain. Now, we move things along, and we could see some pockets of heavier rain during the day coming up for tomorrow, but clearing skies for the most part on Thursday. So 1 to 2 inches of rain for later tonight through tomorrow. Coastal areas will be especially hard hit with rain, around 2 inches, perhaps even more than that for the Outer Banks. Less rain inland, heaviest rain from the pre-dawn hours into the early afternoon hours of tomorrow. And we'll have much more detail on what we can expect for tomorrow and into the weekend in just a few minutes.
And 10 on your side's camera was rolling when an incident involving a man with a suspected weapon came to an end about an hour ago in Newport News. This was the scene outside a rooming house. It's 32nd Street here. Earlier, police say they asked the suspect with what appeared to be a gun to drop the weapon, but he ran. You're getting a good look at him right there, and officers eventually caught up with him, fired beanbags at the suspect, and stopped him. You're going to hear from people who witnessed the situation from beginning to end tonight on WAVY News 10 at 6.
Norfolk police are searching for information in a deadly overnight shooting. Officers found 19-year-old Damani Wiggins shot to death just before 2 a.m. on Ruffner Street. That's right across the street from Ruffner Middle School. Investigators have not released any information about suspects. Hampton police say a 75-year-old woman caught in the crossfire of a gun battle is out of the hospital. The victim was shot in the leg at around 5:15 last night while sitting outside her car on Big Bethel Road. Detectives say the shots were fired between someone on the street and someone in an SUV. Bullets also hit a nearby home, but no one inside was hurt. Officers have not arrested anyone.
And police are looking for a robber who struck in Colonial Williamsburg last week. Police say a man with a knife approached another man near Bruton Parish Church on Duke of Gloucester Street and demanded money. The victim was hurt and needed medical attention, but he did get away after a struggle. This happened last Wednesday night. Police are just learning about it now because the victim says he was afraid to report this in the beginning.
Rescue crews took 5 people, including 4 children, to the hospital after a car smashed into a Newport News home. It happened around 9 this morning at this house on 41st Street and Chestnut Avenue in the city's southeast neighborhood. The man who lives there says a car crashed through a fence and into the side of the home where his 1-year-old and 3-year-old children slept. He says a woman and her 2 children were in that car.
It just sounded like a big boom, just a boom. It shook the house. We heard it when it hit the fence, but we didn't pay no mind, and then all of a sudden it just shook the house. Boom.
No word on the victim's conditions. Booth says this isn't the first time something like this has happened. 1 week ago, a man on a motorcycle smashed through the fence on the other side of his home. New details in the case of 4 disabled people, including a Norfolk man, chained in this Philadelphia basement. Hear why police think there may be more victims. New at 5:30.
And you could be thanking your hairstylist for a lot more than your new do. How they could actually save your life.
And safer sleep. We're on your side with new recommendations from pediatricians to reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome.
And the presidential bus tour. You're looking live here in Virginia in Emporia. Hear what the president has to say coming up a little later.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libus, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
A group of influential doctors is giving parents new ways to reduce the risk for sudden infant death syndrome. The American Academy of Pediatrics says vaccines can help protect babies from SIDS. It's unclear why vaccines seem to have this protective effect. Breastfeeding is also now encouraged as a way to prevent SIDS. The key could be that breast milk is known to shield babies against some illnesses. The group also suggests parents get rid of all types of crib bumper pads because babies could become trapped. Bumper pad ties could also pose a strangulation risk. Pediatricians say the most important advice remains put your baby to sleep on his or her back.
And that hairstylist who makes you look good could end up saving your life. A new study found that hair professionals often examine their clients' scalp, neck, and face in search of hard-to-see moles and lesions that could be signs of cancer. Many encourage customers to see a doctor for an abnormal mole. Melanoma of the scalp and neck account for 10% of all melanoma deaths in the U.S.
A wall of dust blankets an entire Texas town. We'll show you the damage left behind after the storm moved through.
And stopping the violence, how you can safely help fight gangs here in Hampton Roads. Next.
And we are waiting for President Obama's job speech.
We're going to take you live to the first stop in Virginia on the presidential bus tour. That is just ahead.
Sentencing is set for later this month for these Hampton Roads gang members in this courtroom sketch. The last two of 11 members of the Bounty Hunter Bloods pleaded guilty in September. Preventing these types of gangs from growing is the message at one local conference. The group says murders and assaults are just some of the crimes police say gangs are responsible for across the area. 10 on your side's Ali Lucia explains.
I wouldn't say the numbers of gangs are changing a whole lot.
Police say the men in this sketch were responsible for a series of crimes across southeastern Virginia. A reminder to those at the Virginia Gang Investigators Association conference that organized crime continues.
In other parts, say the Richmond, Southeast Virginia corridor, they're more homegrown.
Virginia's Attorney General says many of the members come from broken homes.
Broken family where mom's overwhelmed and dad's not around.
Through research his office has done, those children are usually targets for gang recruiting. One thing that could help,
but the overwhelming proportional need here is for male mentors.
Hampton Roads has seen its share of gang violence. Over the last 3 years, a Portsmouth pizza delivery driver was shot and killed by gang members. And in September of 2008, Norcom football star Rashawn Finney shot and killed. Later, Portsmouth police revealed Finney was a leader of the Bloods, a reminder that a life loss could have been prevented. The Attorney General says if the right steps were put in place.
And they make a big difference. You can really make a big difference in a kid's life if you're willing to put in the commitment to do that.
In Virginia Beach, Ali Lucia, 10 on your side.
That conference goes until Friday.
Now, in high definition, your Super Dot for 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Where's the rain? Well, it's not here yet. In fact, the cloud cover has been really slow to arrive into the area, but within the next several hours, we'll start to see its way, sneaking its way northward across the North Carolina-Virginia state line. Here's where the rain is, well on off to our south and southwest. South Carolina, yeah, a lot of rain. Into North Carolina, not all that much yet, but that'll change during the overnight hours. Here's where part of the rain is coming from, really a good slug of the rain, especially right into here. It's going to work its way northward. You can see that cloud cover lifting northward. There's the rain that we saw at Super Dot for 10 Live. There's also some rain out off to the west. There's a cold front moving east, and there's low pressure climbing northward. And between the two, it's going to rain coming up for tomorrow, and it could be fairly heavy rain, especially along the coastline, and most especially for the Outer Banks coming up tomorrow. The Outer Banks, we could see 2.5, 3 inches of rainfall into the area. We were supposed to see this cloud cover start to work its way right along the Virginia-North Carolina state line by about now, really, and it just hasn't made it, but I think by midnight we'll start to see some of the cloud cover certainly, and may see a sprinkle or two into the area. There are going to be two areas of rain, one right through here, another one closer to the coastal waters. I think everybody's going to get some rain coming up overnight and during the day tomorrow. There's where things are at 2 o'clock in the morning. We'll see an east-southeasterly breeze at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Not much wind. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds though tomorrow morning at 7. Some fairly heavy rain along I-95 and some heavier rain likely moving northward across the Outer Banks during the morning hours. Here's where things are at the noon hour, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. Certainly some rain into the Hampton Roads area. Low pressure climbs northeastward along and just inland from the coastline and the Chesapeake Bay during the afternoon for tomorrow. There's where things are at 3 o'clock. A southerly wind at 15 to 25. Still some rainfall into the area. We'll take you to 7 o'clock in the evening. Still a slight chance of rain. But as you can see, the bulk of the rain, solid rain, is is moving through during the morning hours, through the noon hour and around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then it becomes more widely scattered. We can see a little more widely scattered rain into midnight tomorrow night. Still rather breezy, if not out and out windy, 15 to 25. And then during the day on Thursday, 10 to 15 mile-an-hour winds, 10 to 15, and a few clouds moving into the latter part of the day. But it is going to cool off again for Thursday. Here's what's going on in terms of the rainfall. Our future track computer model 1/2 inch to around an inch, pretty solidly into the Hampton Roads area. A little more than that along I-95, and a lot more than that across Hatteras, where we can see as much as 3 inches of rain there. Temperatures coming up tomorrow during the day. It's still going to be warm regardless of the rain because the origin of that air that's lifting northward, it's coming out of the Gulf of Mexico and Florida, so it's going to be very tropical-like air into the area for tomorrow. And again, it'll start to cool off during the day coming up on Thursday. Now, right now through the area, it's very pleasant temperatures, again, into the low 80s after a high 85 degrees. It tied the record for the day. For tomorrow, though, a little cooler, around 79, but a very, very good chance of rain. Definitely cooler for Thursday, a lot cooler than that for Friday, 63, basically low to mid-60s into the weekend, a little warmer next week. It's going to rain tomorrow.
Police say a Michigan man admitted he was drunk, but he had a chauffeur.
Is the vehicle staying on the road? She's driving pretty good. I'm telling you, I can't believe it.
The designated driver was the problem. We'll show you why.
Then, new developments with a Virginia Beach School Board member living in another country. Is she ready to step down? The latest on WAVY News 10 at 5:30.
And we are waiting for President Obama's job speech. We're going to take you live to Emporia.
On the next stop on that presidential tour, the bus tour, we are awaiting the president. We will see him coming up.
70-mile-per-hour winds whipped up a huge dust storm during the afternoon commute in West Texas. That dust storm blanketed and blindsided the town of Lubbock. The wall of dust blew the roofs off several buildings. There were reports of downed power lines and roads blocked by fallen trees and power lines. The airport in Lubbock was also damaged.
A red dark sky and then just dust just coming our way. And I actually ducked like it wasn't going to take me away.
Get dirt, but not like this. I've never seen it. I've been here about 5 years and I've never seen this.
No, I live in West Texas and the worst it always gets is like red skies, but I've never seen anything like that.
No injuries were reported. Experts say the dust storm was the result of the persistent drought conditions there in Texas.
A Michigan man's in the hot seat after police say he put his 9-year-old daughter in the driver's seat. Let's see some surveillance video which shows a van parked next to a gas pump. The little girl hops out with her dad. Inside the store, employees say 39-year-old Sean Weimer said he was drunk and that his child is the designated driver here. The father bought cigarettes for himself, a caramel apple for the daughter, and then they got back in the van. The 9-year-old in the driver's seat. Someone followed them and called 911.
Just watched a van pull out of a Citgo gas station. A 7-year-old girl is driving it, and her dad is drunk, and he's in the passenger. Is the vehicle staying on the road? She's driving pretty good. I'm telling you, I can't believe it.
Just when you thought you've seen everything, when police stopped the van, the girl was behind the wheel, propped up on a booster seat. Well, now her father's in trouble, facing several charges. Adding up the price of a college education will soon be a mouse click away. We're on your side with what's helping take the guesswork out of calculating the cost.
Then a big apology from BlackBerry. We'll tell you the 100 ways the company plans to say we're sorry for the worldwide outage at 5:30.
Bags. Trembling, but it was just a pow, pow, pow.
Think that'd be a problem? That would make Animal House look like...
Want somebody that no.
1, 2, 3, 4. College costs, that's right, they're high. In a few weeks, every college and university in the nation will have to post a net price calculator on the school website. The online calculators require students and parents to pass along tax information, earnings, and bank statements. It also takes into account that student grade point average, class ranking, and SAT scores.
So now they can sit down and go, well, let's see. And it's an estimate. The information's only as good as they put in as what comes out, so they have to be pretty careful about what they put in, but it'll give them an idea.
Congress mandated this online college cost calculator, and schools have until October 29th to post it. But stay with us because WAVY News 10 at 5:30, including more coverage of President Obama, starts